Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Your Delusional podcast. My name is LaTerra. I'm your host, and today I'm here with Miss Leona. So, Leona is one of my long time friends. Pretty much one of my only friends that I have left since high school. So,
Same girl.
yeah. So there's that. But I'm gonna let you tell them a little bit about yourself.
Oh, me? Well, guess there's not much to tell. I'm special.
Okay.
I don't know.
This coffee is so good.
It's so good. I got coffee. I'm not naming because we gotta give us that brand deal first. But there's a coffee shop right where I work, and it's kind of a problem. Like, everybody there will like go and get it or order it. They always know where to go because that order it, and they're like, "Oh, it's for Jesse." And they're like, oh, because like a lot of people, when they come to our area, the way that it's set up, there's basically 4 different hospitals, but we're in a building. So one shares one building, and then we share another.
Okay.
And so a lot of times, not from their country, they will always mess up the that place never messes up. They're like, here you go.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, no.
We love a functioning business.
I work as a technician for animal care ICU, and it's a surgical center.
We'll tag her page at the end.
Thank you. Other than that, like, I don't know, I'm just a girly with...
I'm just a girl.
I'm just a girl. Working my fucking ass off
Yeah,
all
you're
the
good.
time. Trying to pay for my house, like you. Friends, family, and
Period.
that shit.
Yeah. Okay, guys, to be frank, I don't have any like planned thoughts for this episode, right? I literally just asked Leona if she wanted to come over and podcast with me because I need a break from talking just by myself because it's easier to have conversation and transparency. Just going. Yeah, literally. And I'm like, these rants are turning into like rants. Yeah. And tangents. And then I'm like, wait, what were we talking about again? You know? So.
Yeah, you know when you like look at a wall too long, like it is talking back.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's probably a problem.
Yeah. I was talking to one of my coworkers about this thing. Shout out Larry if you're watching this. But we were talking about how like sometimes I'll be in the middle of arguing with someone or like they haven't said anything yet to me, right? But I'm just thinking about what they're gonna say and I start arguing aggressively with myself, just anticipating everything. And I was like, this is mental illness. Like this is... Yeah, this is that stuff they talk about.
Giving a little bit of mental wrong.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this can't be normal. But I just bought a house. As everyone knows, we talked about this last episode. But Leona bought a house maybe like 4 years ago now. So tell us about that. Because she was like even younger than I am now purchasing a house, which is crazy.
Listen,
so
I will be totally candid though. Being a homeowner is not that much fun. It's definitely something that if you can get done and accomplish it, great on you, but certainly don't rush into it. Don't feel like if you're 30 and you don't have a house, that's a big deal. Like, it's not. There's so much that goes into like having a house. You are literally the one responsible for everything. Like
everything.
You were talking about like literally your washer just died and you just got it and you have to get a new one. You can't like run somewhere. I mean, obviously your parents like, hey, my stuff broke, but like you're still in charge of taking care of that thing because what if there's a bigger issue? What if it was a water leak that's like out of your walls? I have to think about that because my house flooded 2 years ago.
I remember you told me that.
Yeah, it was rough, y'all. Like literally, I'm still paying for like the damages that cost because I live in a two-story, and the way that's functioned though, top half of the house looks like the and then underneath it, it's technically built underground, and it's like a living way, but it's not a basement. And that's where the technical first story is. And it's amazing, beautiful, but because the house is set up like that, when the kitchen flooded from the dishwasher, it's down, destroyed my entire kitchen, and then down destroyed where I live. And destroyed my entire room, my closet. I didn't have any in my house because half my house was
That's crazy.
Yeah, couldn't cook, couldn't do anything. And don't even talk to me about how insurance and all the people that need, because it wasn't just like one team that had to fix it. They had to we had to bring in a water irrigation team, check for mold. They had to make sure it was safe. They were done, which, by the way, there was that we totally fucked up. Totally. I can't remember their name. If I remember it, you're allowed to out them in the comments. And
that's crazy.
Like, they were so shit. Once the irrigation people were done, we then had to get contractors in that could do the flooring, the kitchen, do the paint on the walls, and then they had to go to my room and they had to complete out my closet. They had to build a new one, and then then they had to rip out the flooring underneath it, because even though all the flooring wasn't completely destroyed, there were like more than half of it is. So you have to get a new one, otherwise you're gonna look weird. Yeah. And I was like, well, I mean, yeah. And they were like, if you do that, you're only gonna pay like $100. And I was like, it's not worth it. I might as well just go all in and get fit.
I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but there was one point where I lived in my apartment before I moved back into my mom's, and then I had a dog at the time. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I had a dog at the time, and then she completely ripped my floor up, right? But only in this one spot. And then my bed, from sitting on my floor, like, not no like bump in the night type shit, but like it literally just, the little prongs were seeping into the floor, because they had this like cheap, what I found out to be like $1 a panel laminate flooring. And so it was like, if you have laminate flooring, totally no issue with that. Just get something that's, you know, gonna last in your fucking house. And they tried to charge me $2,400 to fix the flooring in this entire apartment, and my rent was only like $1,300. So I'm like, you're charging me 2.5 months rent to fix the flooring in this whole apartment, and like for literally nothing. I'm like, the one like spot in the middle, I got that. I was expecting to pay some type of money, but I was like 24 for the whole house, and they were like, well, do you have these little dents? And I'm like, that's just from my bed being on the floor, bro. Get you some not cheap fucking flooring. And I was like, and then
it's not vinyl, even that's cheap, but it's durable.
Literally. So anyway, but yeah, so house repairs and not fun.
Getting back to the people that like utterly fucked us over. So they were complete trash. And there were two people in particular, it was like actually where they were part of the water irrigation team to make sure that there wasn't mold in the house. They were basically manipulative out the ass. Because like, obviously I'm a new home and my mom is part home as well. And during that time, my mom was still grieving that. And I'm obviously young. I was like 20 something. I bought the house. I don't know shit about buying houses or how to interact with like insurance people or whoever. They took it. Like, you would think some people would be kind, not take advantage, but there's always people out there. And because of them, though, I learn now how to interact with all of them. And even though like it makes me itchy when I'm interacting with them, I've learned my lesson, and it's a hard lesson. And honestly, just tell people that are repairing your house, you're like, hey, this is my house. This is this is what the fuck we're doing, and put everything in writing. You will not touch a hair on this house until I get in writing exactly what you're doing, cost of the estimate, everything, and why you're doing it. And there will be no overtime for why you're gonna do more. You're sticking to what you're doing, and you're gonna do it on time. They'll actually do that. Why you're behaving that way, because at the end of the day, it's your house.
No, exactly. There is this girl or this woman who I follow now on Instagram. Her name is Zaina, and she's a nail artist, and she was getting some renovations done to her nail shop. And there was literally this video, and she was like yelling at these contractors, and she was like, I guess I have to sit here and fucking talk to you guys and be a bitch, because when I'm sitting here trying to be nice to you guys and be respectful, and like I was more than respectful to y'all are trying to like fuck me over. But now that I'm sitting here like acting an ass, and like now you want to do things, and like it shouldn't have to be that way. And I'm like, no, I agree, it shouldn't have to, but like, yeah, some people will literally just push you to a point where you're like, bro, be for real.
Yeah, I'm gonna be so for real. Is that when we were dealing with that company toward the end of it, they're like, okay, this is like the money that you owe us, because we were not the ones that were fighting them. It was our, because they were like, why the fuck did you charge this and that, and like all these little things. They're nitpicking at it, as they should, because they're an insurance company. They were kind of shit towards the other people that ended up helping us out and were very sweet. But again, they're an insurance company. They're kind of just always going to be like that. But they were really on these other people that were being assholes, the water irrigation team. And they were basically saying, like, why would you even pay for, like, twice the amount for even checking for the water that you did not label correctly? They said that the water was fine, or the mold in the house was fine, it was good, and we got another team out because it just didn't right. And our insurance was also like, yeah, we won't cover anything unless you get 2 opinions out. And we were like, fair enough. So we got another team out, the ones that ended up being with us, and they were like, oh, they fucked you over so bad. We can only do so far. This is not safe at all. We have limited stuff, but they're like, you're lucky. We actually have an in with someone who all he does is check for mold. So, but what he does is that he checks for mold for us, and then we double check it when we come back. So you are getting your stay, but he works privately, we work privately, and both kind of discount each other. So you get a discount, it's their too. And we were like, great, perfect. That guy came out or did not like ask for a fee to get paid at all.
Oh, that's so nice.
And because he was like, no, they screwed you over so bad, and at this point I'm doing a favor, just checking. He was like, because I will like do billing another way, but he was like, this literally took 5 minutes to just see that your entire inside's like up. He was like, yeah. So I don't know what they were doing, but because that other team messed up and they did not properly take the water out of like floorboards, out of the walls, like they were supposed to do when they were checking it, because they failed to do that, my house got even more destroyed, which is why it took even longer for it to get fixed.
Yeah.
And so that all happened, got our second stay, insurance is like, okay, great, you're there. And then they started asking for money, and we were like, well, we have to go through insurance. Technically, it is under insurance part of this. You're not getting a dime until we know exactly what we're paying. They tried to claim that we're not calling them back, and I was like, you have my number, you have my mother's number, you have email, you have other secondary numbers. Like, we haven't heard a word from you. We contacted them multiple times. We had messages saved that we contacted them, emails saved that we contacted them, and then they tried to say that we came in touch with them, that we were trying to, what was it called?
Like delinquent type of people.
Yes. And we were like, there's nothing to pay because you have not given us a say of what is being paid, and what you did tell us was inaccurate because you did not charge something right. You did not properly check our walls or the floors. We have proof of it by 2 separate companies, and they all are in agreement along with our insurance that you fucked up our house more because you did not do it properly. So because of that, we're not paying you that. You and our insurance are going to have to fight, and we're going to fight this until we reach a settled agreement. And so at the end of the day, we ended up reaching an agreement, right?
Girl.
So that's just part of it. I was very stressed it was very stressful because, like, again, for this lasted 8 months in total, by the way. And like, not the fight with them, but the fight between them from when the house got flooded to when I actually had a place to live at my house. I did not have any to live for.
No, that's crazy, dude.
Terrible. It was terrible. And because my mom was like, she felt bad that I didn't have a place to live. Thankfully, I had a lot of pet sitting jobs going on in between. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to stay at my house sitting gigs. And then when I do have to be home, I will just live on the couch. But, you know, that's life. Got in that whole little fight, got settled. But then the 3 guys that were being assholes that kept saying, like, delinquent, we weren't paying, we weren't contacting them. 2 of them, by the way, weren't even people that weren't involved in finance at all. They were the people that came out and fucked up my house.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And they tried to they tried texting me, calling me, acting like I wasn't going to have to give up a fight. But at that point, I was done with them because the lead irrigation guy, he got his little coworker minion, as I'll call him, to
the henchman.
Yeah, the henchman, to call me, and his little henchman guy contacted me, and he texted me first about like the money, and then he called me. And then he was like, I'm coming to pick up the check, because the third guy that was being an ass, we had told him after we reached the agreement that we have a check, it will get to them. However, we're not doing it through, we're doing it through this one guy at their company who is directly in charge of all the finance. He is the man that handles everything. He is the advisor, the finance guy, he handles it. Because those team irrigation people should not be handling it. That's not their job. And especially after they fucked up my house, I do not trust them. Because we were already in contact with them. Because when we were talking to the lead irrigation guy, we were like, we already have it settled, we have the check. That guy is coming to pick up the check. And by the way, this is not like a $200, $300, $500 check, which is still a lot of money. It was a $1,700 check that they were trying to collect. And I was like, I know exactly who this man is. I know what he looks like. I know who's. There was nothing about you three being involved in this. You did your part in fucking up my house. So, no,
absolutely not.
Exactly. So when his little henchman contacted me, he was like, I'm coming to get the check. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, I had a discussion that, like, you know, you guys are paying the check. I was like, we're paying profit for some of the stuff that you did, not all of it, because he tried saying that was more. And I was like, no, because there was already discussion that you guys messed up. We already settled this. We're not going to talk about it again. And I was like, sure, it's ready. He was like, okay, I'll be there in like 35 minutes. I was up 40 minutes later at my doorbell. Not something that way. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. And so I opened the door. I was mad. I was like, hello. And he was like, I'm here to get the check. I said, what check? He was like, you said you had the check already. I said, oh yeah, I said I had the check. I don't have it on me. I have the check. Not free. He's like, you have to pay us. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pay the guy I spoke to tomorrow. We didn't have any discussion about you. You're not getting died from me. He said, you better do that, or like we're gonna like call the cops on you and
call them.
Yeah, I was like, I got mad at that point because he also brought my mom. That's when I lost my fucking shit, because at the moment I was just standing in the doorway, you know, not door like partly open, not letting him in. I got real mad. I had never in my life gotten so mad that I slammed a fucking door on a string. That man, like, I'm 5 feet tall, by the way, guys. But this man was literally eye to eye and scrawnier than me. Like, yes, the man is still a man, but I was mad.
I'm dead.
like, I could probably kick him and he would cry.
Right.
And like, he was literally that short. I could look him in the eye, and I got mad, slammed the door behind me. I said, you're gonna fuck off my property. You're not contacting my mother. We already have someone coming to get it. There was no discussion involving you. And,
as you should.
Yeah. And he kind of looked at me for a second, and I said, what else is there? I don't have money for you. You're not the person you need.
Yeah.
And he finally walked off, and then he tried having his like boss talk to me. I said, absolutely not. You know who we're contacting. So they left, never heard a word from me. My mom comes home. She was at work doing her thing, but she had no idea about it. I was like, they didn't contact her. So I let her know what happened. We both, at the same time, called the finance guy who we talked to. He wanted to clarify. We were like, we make sure we told him everything that happened. Never in this life has this so aghast, like literally flabbergasted. He had no words. He was like, I can't believe they went back into that. He was like, I told them getting the money to me so that they would shut the fuck up. Those were literally his words. He's like, I told them that so they would shut the fuck up and stop bothering not only me. I was like, they had no right to go. They had no right to contact you. I told them to that you were being handled with me.
Yeah, if you wanted to, you could literally call the police on them for fucking trespassing, because y'all are not supposed to be here. Like, literally,
they had no business at that point being on my property at any time. And I remember the name of the company, who it was.
Go ahead, air them out.
SWAT, SWAT, and it has like little points in it, like S.W.A.T. Stay the fuck away from them.
Count your days.
Forever. And so, which was, because when we were talking to the guy, when he actually got there in person, the finance guy, complete 360. 100% different from anybody else at that point we had ever interacted with. He was the nicest man, so sweet, and it didn't even feel like he was like trying to like be the litigation like to us. It literally felt like he genuinely did not like those guys, felt that they were in the wrong, and it felt bad.
We were chatting, but we're gonna get into the topic of dating and boys and all that kind of stuff. So, now I'm gonna let you take off. I'm gonna let you take this segment. Ooh. So you just, kind of leave it, whatever. Let's go back for a little bit. Yes. So Leona and I, we both kind of rekindled. So we had this period where life was lacking and we fell out of contact for maybe 2 or 3 years. We talked here and there, but it wasn't as much as we do now. So then we came back after my catastrophe relationship happened. And she was just kind of telling me about her relationship stuff as well. Yeah. And we bonded over knowing that we both were dating terrible people. Maybe we're crazy, terrible people ourselves, I don't know.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. That's because I was actually thinking about that not that long ago. I was like, fuck, because I was realizing, because I'm not gonna harp on our toxic relationships because we both healed from that. We both grew up in both in loving relationships. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Some of the worst things I experienced in that relationship, and it kind of brought us we were separated for a little bit because I was focusing too much on that, and you can say if you were on that in yours or not.
I agree though. I do feel at the time I was very
involved in it.
Very involved, it was just kind of not consuming my life in a way. I was definitely in that stage of trying to heal out loud, I guess, and just put myself in different places, different environments and stuff. But I also was very consumed by it. Every day, I couldn't say that I didn't think about it. Whereas now, is something that comes to my mind, maybe in passing from something else that happens that triggers a memory.
Yeah, I will say though that from that relationship, I'm glad we are both out of it, and I'm very glad that I'm out of it, because when I want what's best for you, you deserve that, you're a queen.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. But from that, we grew closer now that we're out of it, and that's great. And I will say this, is that I did have a moment, what was it, probably 2 months ago, where I was doing some spring cleaning, and I knew that there might be a possibility I might find some stuff in my exes. Because, so for some people that don't know, me and my ex were not together for as long as I knew him, at all. But I knew him for 9 years. And we were together very briefly, very shortly. Don't want to put a timeline because I just don't want to. There's a lot of history there. So I was like, okay, I might find some other stuff, didn't think about it. I was like, whatever. But I find out enough wrote out. I found a photo album that he made from scratch. Yeah. And I was like, fuck. When I first saw it, didn't have any feeling about it. And then I was like, it's a good folder, binder. I was like, it'd be nice to give it to my mom because she works with children. Great. Someone needs that stuff, I can donate, it'll be good. That way I don't feel like I'm throwing away something that could actually be worth something. And I knew that photo album didn't have that many photos in it. It was just big because the photos were big. Throwing the photos away didn't mean anything. I was like, whatever. Didn't get me until we got to the date that he made it. I was like, fuck. And didn't get sad. What I got was angry. And I got angry thinking about how long I put up with that bullshit, how bad the relationship was, and then I got mad at myself for getting mad, because I was like, you're in a loving relationship right now, why the fuck are you being mad about something that doesn't matter? So I felt bad about that, and I was going over that night, because I was like, just forget about it, just throw it away, get rid of the whole thing, just toss it. And so that's what I did. I was like, just get over it, it's fine. I was trying to forget about it, and then I just, for some reason, thought about it while we were in his room together. And I was like, I'm gonna go for a run. And he was like, are you okay? Because he could tell something was off. This man can tell when I'm off, even before I can most of the time.
As he should.
Yeah.
As he should.
And I was like, I feel a little bit of anxiety. I was like, I'm gonna go for a run though. Sometimes that helps me. And I'm realizing now that that's what used to help me when I was single. And I still go out on runs. It's still very healthy. I love it. But maybe I shouldn't be doing that anymore when I have anxiety. And it's been proven because during my run I had an anxiety attack. But even before then, and this is a stark difference from like how my ex was versus how, you know, even before I left, he literally looked me in the eye, held my hand, and he was like, call me if you need me to come pick you up if you start to have an attack. Because he's like, I've been there, I've done that. He's like, I will come get you. And keep in mind, I won't put in the context of why, but at the time he did not have a driver's license. So he's not allowed to drive. But also I'm running the neighborhood, so like I thought like, you know, it's a big deal, I'll just walk back, whatever. And you know, he has to come and get me. And also I won't lie, because of how things were before, I didn't think he'd actually come and get me.
And you know, that's okay. I think that in this, you have a lot of truth, like in everything that you're saying. I don't think that there's anything wrong with getting angry, like going through those like thoughts and emotions, because I think that the hardest thing in being in something is kind of like how you feel towards yourself for what you put up with, right? Because if it was like, if you were talking to me and I was telling you what you told me happened, I would have told you, you should get out of that. You know what I mean? And so it's like, exactly. And so it's like, we both know exactly, like, no, we shouldn't have put up with the things we put up with, and it's okay to be like upset and angry at yourself, and like, those are natural emotions. I guess what I'm trying to get at. So like,
for real.
That happens.
No, for real. And thank you for like saying that, because like it helps, especially hearing it even like now, because like when I did have my panic attack, I will say that I contacted my sister first, because I was trying to be good. I contacted my sister, and she talked to me about it. She basically said the same thing a little bit more at the time, because I was like really panicky. Called her, and then she also texted me, told me, let me know when Evan came and got me. And because I texted Evan, I was like, hey, I'm having a moment, and I need you to like come get me. Still thinking in the back of my head he wasn't gonna come. Tell me why this man is like location now, because I have an Android, he has an iPhone, so if I had an iPhone, I would give him my location. I need to fix that. I know that they can fix that, because if you and I can read that you and I read each other's messages,
they should be able to share locations.
Exactly. It's not that hard. He sent it, and then he was like, I'll be there in 5. And because I did not realize how long I like run, and he got to me in 4 minutes. And
I didn't press record that whole time.
oh
my god. T. Okay, well it's okay. So sorry if y'all heard that first, like, I don't know how long we've been talking. Maybe 10 minutes of like cracky audio. So sorry.
She told me before he came and got me that she like, tell him that you want to talk about what you're going through, but just not right now. But you'll talk about it more later. I think it's so cute when I think back to it about how he literally felt so concerned, but he didn't really know what to say because he's not a big guy. And he asked me what I needed. I said, shower. I'm kind of weird sometimes when I have like that, which don't happen often, but I turn off the lights in the shower and and so I did that. Saw that he I was okay like twice. I got out of the shower, man got me a giant glass of milk, like probably like this big and about that round. And he was like, whenever I've had that.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, and I did drink the milk. Surprisingly, I felt.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, and then we talked. I told him that because like I got angry. I felt bad. Girlfriend feel that way.
Yeah, everyone literally has those feelings. I think that something I don't talk to the pod about like
the people,
my exes per se. Like I'll bring up situations that have happened or whatever. But I guess in the object of being transparent, something that I noticed from my ex is like there were certain things that I had emotions from like previous relationships, even when I was with them. And it's just like when I tried to express that, it was not the same. Kind of how you said is understanding, or kind of how like I think understanding now. And I'm just like, if I tell you something, you can like talk through this with me without the like, it's pride. Like, I think that's what it is. Without the prideful, like, why is my girlfriend thinking about someone else? Because it's like, no, that's just a memory. And, like, it doesn't, like, force out of your head. We're having a lot of camera tech things happening. It's really hard dating someone who is prideful, just because if you're prideful, it leaves a lot less room for, I feel like, people to be honest with you. And relationships without honesty are hard. But in that, I totally get what like you were saying about your boyfriend and about how it's like the feeling of maybe he won't come get you, because it's scary. Like once you lose trust in situations, it's hard to like trust someone with small things when I can't trust you when I'm having actual big things happening, or like I'm telling you about my emotions and then it's just like oh, you're being dramatic, or oh, this. I was telling them I started this whole podcast because my ex would always call me delusional. And then he literally one day he was like, dude, like you're so fucking delusional. And I was like, I'm gonna name my podcast You're Delusional because you think I'm delusional.
I was say, but I'm gonna be so real, girl. I love you, but like I don't really watch podcasts.
Oh no, it's okay.
Like that. Because like I'm not really a podcaster really unless it's like true crime type of stuff. And so then I watch it in the car because I cry for 45 minutes. No,
and that makes sense. Yeah. That's literally how I got into podcasts, because I was like, I've listened to all my music so much and like I just need to hear something different.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's really hard, I think, because like when I was with that person and they would be like, oh, you're delusional in this, it's hard to find like a safe space in that. And I think that as people coming out of that, it's just hard to not have those residual like angers and frustrations, because it's like, dude, like I put up with this for so long. And kind of at the end, because like, also I'm saying this to say like, I'm not saying Leona and I are perfect people, right? And saying this at all. But what I am saying is that like after these relationships where like we were both kind of done really crappy in the situation, there was no going after the person or like trying to find them and be like hurtful and harmful. And I think that's a big thing too. And so like from that, you're going to have anger, because it's like, you didn't really get a closure in the situation. You didn't get a final thing. It's kind of like all this stuff happened to you at the end, which made you make the decision, and that was it. And so, yeah, I get that.
David, just doing a bunch of shit for years you shouldn't. And like, because you're about it, you know, maybe I could have been better. So it's two sides to it. But like, story, but when you don't get to that story, because I'm without you getting
there's like no fairness.
Yeah, like it will always be there. And it's like, okay, you're right. It was your story, and I was just a part of it, and made that clear. And now I'm kind of patient about it.
You saying that makes me have this like tickling feeling, because I personally believe I'm a villain in a lot of people's story, right? Whether I want to be or whether I don't want to be. And a lot of the times, I don't think I did anything. I think it's just whatever. It didn't end up the way they wanted to, so I'm the bad guy. And that's fine. I say all that to say, I think that there's something very special about like, I don't want to say being the victim, because I don't think I'm a victim in anyone's story. But like, there is something very special.
Our exes think that.
There's something super special about like being the person who like, you don't get the happy ending and there's nothing you did wrong. Like not nothing you did wrong, but in the grand like feature of the whole story, like when you really play it back, you really didn't do anything like wrong. And it's really like, so why do I feel this shitty at the end? And I didn't do anything. And it's like,
Even when I was like, because I knew that guy for as long as I did, I had deep relations with family. And me and his mom talked toward the end, and I was saying my final goodbyes. I told her, I was like, if this last goodbye. And I deeply did feel like I had the right to say goodbye to her. I knew her for 9 years. I had every right to contact her and just say goodbye. I wasn't trying to like make it anything about him. I did talk a little bit about him because I wasn't getting closure. Felt very abrupt, stuff like that. Yada yada. But when I reached out to her and stuff, even she could not explain his actions. And she didn't even know the full story of it. She just got little snippets of what she had been told from him. And then when I actually told her the small grain of like what actually unfolded toward the end, not even the whole history of everything, just a small grain of it, even she was like, sweetheart, I don't have, I had that answer.
People are sick.
People are sick. Like, that should say something. When your own mother can't even explain those actions, like, don't get me wrong, a mother will always have love for their child. Like, I feel like there are limitations that should be there when it comes to, like, murder and shit. So I won't understand that. But, like, you know, obviously not that deep. It's just an analogy. But it's like,
yeah. No. I get it. I've been on the very opposite end of that spectrum, actually, in both of my last relationships. Both of my exes are like, so I like to say this. I've only dated 3 people. Like, legitly, I've only dated 3 real life people in my life because I've been in long-term relationships since I started, like, legitly dating when I was like 18, right?
Basic life.
Exactly. So because of that, like, both of my exes up to this point, their moms enabling. Their moms cripplingly enabling. And I'm just like, I hate that. And there's nothing, I hate that so bad only because my mother personally has never enabled me. You know my mom. You know my history with my mom.
Yeah, exactly.
She's been very honest. She's always been really real. And that's not just with me, but with my siblings as well. And I have 2 boy siblings, 2 brothers. And so it's like, as a girl,
being the firstborn girl,
and being the firstborn girl, like, you gotta be on it, you know, and you have to be accountable and stuff like that for your actions. And so I've never lived in a world where, like, my mom is gonna take up for me when I'm wrong. Like, she might not tell me in that very moment if I'm in front of people, but like but she's going to tell me when I'm wrong. So with these people, I'm like, your mother is not honest with you, and it shows. It shows really bad, and I hate that for you, but I know you don't.
It always goes back to that same old thing where, like, you know, if you were in the wrong relationship with a girl, when she ends up improving her life vastly when you're out of it, and your life stays. And that's all I'll speak on that.
Someone asked me the other day, they were like, so let me ask you a question, because I know you're going to be honest. Is it better if you break up with someone and you hear that they're doing terribly, or is it better that you hear that they got all the stuff together that you were working on? And the toxic in me, and I was like, I want to hear they're doing horrible. I want to hear that every way they made my life miserable, their life is miserable now. I know that's not the right thing, right? But it just feels so good. Like, to be like... That's what I'm saying. If we're gonna be honest, me, like, do it. It's nice.
Yeah, like, it's not like you're gonna sit there and be like, I wish, like, the worst death upon you. But yeah, you don't want to hear, like, yeah, I'm a millionaire now. I'm doing so great.
Yeah. And it's only because I feel like, I hate to say this, I hate when people play in my face, right? And when someone plays in my face and then I win at the end, I love that. I feel like, wow, I won, you lose. So sorry. Because why would you do that?
Like, why would you do that? Like,
literally,
you know, like, look at me.
People aren't necessarily going to work out, right? And I don't want anyone in the pod to think that, like, I'm saying that if you're with someone, you have to work out forever or anything like that. But I am saying that, like, there are ways that you treat people in relationships. And the ways that our exes kind of treated us, it was just more so in a...
We aren't worth their...
Yeah, it's like, you're not worth the honesty and you're not worth the respect to just, like, be honest, be courteous, and, like, everyone's time is ticking just the same, right? So it's like, if you're not going to be respectful of someone's time, don't waste someone else's life. Literally. Like, with Leona in this situation and the time that it was a long time. And it's like, why would you sit here and waste someone's time like this if, like, I get some people don't know what they want, and it's a lot easier to, like, just sit here and play along with something, especially if you don't know what you want. But, like, you have to think, or you're content. And it's like, if you know someone else wants more, like, and you don't want that, or you cannot, like, give that to them or be there with them through that, it may be hard, but you need to leave. And I think it's not fair to just hold them up, you know?
And I will say this, that I believe I've told you this, but, and I'll say it outwardly all the time, that if my ex had just told me exactly what was going on, it probably would so much time, so much energy. I'm not saying it would have saved our friendship, but it would have saved me knowing what I was getting involved in, rather than playing like, oh, I guess I'm just then. And that, it's just not fair.
Yeah.
In the sense to like myself. And I did bring that up, you know, when I was down, where I was like, I literally said it, where I was like, you did not think about me in any aspect of the situation. You thought about yourself, what you wanted to get out of it. I told you this is why I was doing like stuff like this. You knew that. But when you had an answer, instead of telling me, you didn't tell me it. And you just told me to my face, because when we were talking, in that moment, he was like, well, I was going to tell you the next time I saw you. I was like, standing. You weren't going to talk to me. You literally were walking out the door. The only reason you're talking to me right now and giving me right now is because...
Isn't that crazy?
Exactly. And then some people tried to... because they were like, well, he wasn't ready to tell you in that moment. I was like, he just said that he was ready to tell me the next time he saw me.
Also, I think that in that situation, that is simply crazy only because, like, you and this person were together for at least a year. And in that last year, I feel like maybe they didn't have the full understanding, but like you said, they could have at least told you, like, this is where I'm at right now. I don't know where this is going to go from here or from there, but this is where I'm at. And it's like, you can't just, that's avoiding the conversation, what they're doing. And avoiding it is not, oh, they're not ready. Avoiding it is like, you're purposely avoiding it so you don't have to talk about it.
Literally.
But like, you know, someone else cares. And like, you're very like expressive about your emotion, especially because like Leona's a very, how do you say, like, you're very conscious about the relationships you get in because of people and like, just like your seriousness in your time. So in this situation, I know it wasn't like you're not being vocal and they have to think like, oh, does she feel this way? No, you know exactly, you know, how you feel. You express that. So that was what that was. And similar to that situation, it's just like kind of one of those things. Like if I keep expressing to you how I feel, at what point do I have to just be like, I have to walk away? But people love to let you be the one to walk away. I have learned. Not even just in our situation, but just talking to other people, it's so much easier to be like, well, they left me. But why did they leave you? Where was all this in between? They didn't just leave you.
Exactly. It's like, there's always something to add to it. Because I will say this. When this whole thing happened and we're talking during one thing, I could have been, but then I will also, I do not have to be someone trash for 9 years, whether subconscious, because at some point you realize this person cares about me, and I can get away with X amount. The minute you start saying I can get away with that's something I value as you're equal and you get away from them.
Agreed.
Like just anyone in that situation. The other party or vice versa. And I'll stay true to that. Like, yeah, I could have been nicer. I could have like just walked away, held my head high, and said like, oh, I was a bigger person. I didn't say anything when he told me that, and I just got in my car and walked away. No, I was mean. I did yell. I did get angry for a whole hour. But that was 9 years of anger that I had built up. And I could have been way meaner, could have been way nasty. But all I did was get there, get my peace, talked it out the best that we could in that moment. I probably shouldn't have done it when I was angry. But at the same time, he didn't deserve my sincerity or my niceness.
Yeah, I feel heavily on that. Like a lot of people love to be like, me included, not a lot of people. I love to say this too. Like, I don't think that you should talk to people necessarily like when you're angry and all this stuff. But in situations like this specifically, I think that if you are constantly trying to talk to someone in like a very like kind, modest tone, and you've brought it up and brought it up and brought it up, eventually any person is going to get upset if they're saying the same thing to someone. And it's like, why am I feeling like I'm supposed to be talking to my partner, but I'm talking to a wall? That is so upsetting. Like, that is so it's so irritating. And it's like, I'm going to start screaming at a point, especially this person specifically. Just not giving you answers. I guess I'm gonna say that. They're like, I remember you would tell me anytime you try to talk to them, they have nothing to say, or it's just like I don't know. And like, and I get it. People are young. People go through young relationships, but
all the time and they
yeah,
fuck me up, and I'm
you
like,
know
no.
something.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't know, lie to me. Tell me something, because like this whole I don't know, like you can't move from I don't know, and especially like no one wants to be mad at their partner. So it's like I want to move out of this space, but how am I supposed to move out of the space if you never fucking know anything?
And then full circle moment. That goes back into like, you know, the thing that we're talking about with house. Literally, that can relationship. You literally can't build a foundation or a house. However, you marriage, whatever. You can't build any of that if you guys aren't talking. You can't talk to your contractors. You're like, I thought you had a one, and you're like, bitch, I can afford a mansion. I told you to build a koi pond, and they're like, got dirt. Like it's stuff like that. Like you have to effectively communicate, and I think that's something that I feel like we both learn, especially in our relationships now. I will say this: a lot of work to not like get worked up or fight or do
communicating is hard. I get the anxious shakes, and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to feel like this, and I'm like, there's nothing bad going on. I'm just trying to talk, and I'm like, why do I feel so upset and so anxious? Yeah.
But then you talk, and then you're like, it literally was a 3-minute conversation, if at least that I've learned from my grandparents who have been together for 50 years, I think. Almost.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I could talk about their story all day, and we should talk about it. Like you can still be upset with it, but you gotta talk about it and bad. But talk about it, will do whatever it is, still care about it.
I truly love love. My man gets on me about this all the time because I tell him I love love all the time, but like I really do love love. Like I think that love is one of those things that's supposed to like. One of my old coworkers, shout out Andrew Hoban if you're watching this, but he said that from this relationship he was in with this woman, he was like, I've learned that like love is supposed to be something that it can be hard, it can be challenging because it's two people trying to like learn to basically share an existence together, right? But at the same time, like love is not supposed to be impossible. And I think that really just hit me because when I was like younger, I felt like I was battling through this like ideology that people have that like love is going to be complicated because you want to have this story that you push through and da-da-da-da. But like, I don't think love is supposed to be that complicated. I feel like it's just something that like you figure out, and it can be hard and it can be difficult. But at the end of the day, like you said, you want to be with someone who like you don't want to be angry with. You want to go to sleep with them and like everything is fine and chill, and you're married for 60, 70 years, you know, and all that kind of stuff. I think that for me, this is like a self-esteem thing, I guess. But like, I think love is so scary because it's crazy to think that like you will love someone, and I know obviously you won't love them the same way your whole life, but like
love changes and it grows. But it's a matter of looking at your partner and saying at the end of the day, you're still I love. Yes,
and I'm scared. I'm scared I will not find, like, not saying nothing about my boyfriend or nothing. I'm just like, damn, like, what if I think about those people who were married for like 20, 30 years, and I'm just like, bro, and then they divorce, you know, and I'm like, that's crazy. And like, I get divorce is like, it's legally just a piece of fucking paper, right? Not to say like that, like marriage is more so about the connection you have, and it's legal on a piece of paper.
I mean, like,
but
just to like cut in just for a brief
no, you're
like,
good.
I feel that because like I've had discussions. We both kind of like had that little kind of marriage talk, and you know, I was like, listen, at the day of me.
Have you seen the trend with everyone like eloping? I kind of want to get eloped.
I know, I thought about that. I felt this child love me. Am I the only wife? Wife, children, if you have children, and whatnot. If that answer is yes, that's fucking love.
Yeah, I've never been the girl that like thought, like I've watched weddings and stuff growing up, but like, you know, the girls who like plan out their whole wedding, the color schemes, I want that. But at the end of the day, ultimately I would be fine getting married in my backyard with the people I care about the most, to be honest. Cause I'm like, A wedding ceremony, it's for you, sure, but it's literally for everyone else. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, when 10 o'clock hits and the venue that we rented out is up, we got to clean these fucking tables up. Everyone has to get out and the wedding's over.
I had a quinceañera. I had to do all that.
And like at the end of the day, it doesn't like negate the fact that you turned 15 this day.
Yes.
But at the same time, like, we got to go. The ceremony's over. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, I think that's cool, but like, I'm really with this elopement trend. To be honest, I'm like, I think that's really like cute, like getting eloped and then like a year later, 2 years later, having an actual like wedding ceremony. Cause like, truly, if your wedding is just about you two being together and being married, you could get married whenever and celebrate whenever. Yeah, I can't remember her last name now.
She was with this guy since we were in high school.
He's a really sweet guy as well.
Very sweet guy. And they were together, stuff like that. And because we went to the same college together, and they got married. They just eloped, and then like, you know, because we barely talked a little bit in college, but we still talked. And so she's like, hey, I got married. Like, we really just went to the courthouse, like, done with waiting. Like, the whole idea was just like she got married, I think, wedding dress.
No, I think that's so cute. Like, to be honest, I don't know. I feel like a wedding is cool. The ceremony is cool. And I'm not saying not to do it, but like, if you really do want to, like, I know some women have this very much urge to be married. Like, they literally just want to be married. Like, some for religious purposes, some for whatever. Like, some people truly do believe that like marriage is just, they want to be someone's wife, especially when they have a child with them. Or they want to share the same last name as their child and their husband. And I'm like, that's a really big thing for some people. And whatever way you want to do it, I feel like you should do it and everything like that. But I think the elopement thing is real cute.
I think it's real cute too.
How do you feel about the girlfriend ask?
The girlfriend ask? I feel like it doesn't always have to be a super official thing, but I think it does need to be asked because we briefly talked about it earlier, you know? And it's like, because I feel like this is kind of a trend, especially like guys our age, where they will always call you the girlfriend before they even officially ask you a lot of times.
Yeah, it became a thing like in school. I feel like when I was when we were in high school, I never really saw people asking people to be their girlfriends. Like, it was kind of like, I don't know, shown on TV, I guess is my best reference. But like, I feel like back then people like asked people, but also I think a lot of people were more treacherous back then. So it was like one of those, unless you tell me you're my boyfriend or girlfriend, you're not my boyfriend or girlfriend, so I can do as I please. More so, I'm like, more so now, I'm very much like, if I'm spending all my time with someone, like, I feel like that's my boyfriend, so I don't really have an issue with it. But an ask is nice.
Yeah,
I will say that.
An ask is nice.
An ask is nice.
It doesn't have to be a grand thing. Like, some people would love grand stuff.
It just shows initiative. Like, it shows that you care about this as much as I care about this.
Because, you know, and then sometimes, like, you know, if you think about it, you're like, you know what? We could be those people that are stuck in limbo. You know, I mean, that, yeah, men in our lives are willing to, like, my girl. It's nice, but I will say this. You can edit this if you want. Why have you not asked this woman? And I'm looking at the podcast camera to emphasize this shit. This is for real. Ask her. Like, what? Me and always fight.
Yeah, they're real catty.
We are, but we, you know, it's just, it's all love, but like no love. You're my longtime friend, my oldest friend, and also it's like, you know, we both know each other. So this man doesn't treat you right, especially now that we both know what each other went through before we were like really not involved in each other's lives. I especially feel a little bit protective now that I like have you in my life.
Definitely just talking about it. I was like, she better not tell me nothing bad about he better be acting right. Literally at the very beginning, it was me being like, why is he acting like this? Why do you want to be with her? Do you don't want to be with her? Yeah. No, so
real. Like, act appropriately. You know, I clocked that boy. See, part of it is that I clocked that boy from way before you guys were dating. Like, I knew that boy had like the feels for you. I was like, he was so fucking obvious about it.
I'm crying.
Like, yeah, like, I don't know. You noticed it. I feel like you probably did, or maybe you didn't. But like, I saw that boy. He was like just kind of like the way he would like guide up to you, the way he would say things, and I'm like, boy, if you're feeling something, fucking do something.
Yeah.
Like asking her to be your girlfriend. I'm gonna know something's up.
If Instagram doesn't know, is it really official?
I know.
Oh my gosh, speaking about that. Oh, okay, we'll get into the next topic actually. So we're going to go into the You're Delusional segment. If you don't know, the You're Delusional segment is when I say a statement or someone writes in a statement for the podcast and they ask me, it's like a hot take, right? Do you think it's delusional or whatever? So how do you feel about social media relationships? So for instance, my relationship, I don't post about it necessarily, but it's not secretive. Like he's very much on my page, but he's just kind of like filtered into my page is like a normal thing, like a normal occurrence, you know?
I do have a hot take on that, and I do have a call out to your man about that. It's like, because one time he brought up something where he's like, well, why doesn't your man post you? To be fair, I don't really post everything. Like, you might see on my Instagram every now and again, but like, up until like maybe 2-3 months ago, was not posting him at all. We had been together for like 8 months at that point, and whatnot. But it's like, I don't think someone on your social media defines your relationship. It's a matter of how you take care of each other. Private. Because it goes to that old saying, it's like, you know, your man could look pretty on paper, but if he ain't nice anywhere else, then it does not matter. And so, because like, I have a hot take on that, because like, your man alluded to that about my guy not posting on his social media. Because I was like, well, I'm not posting him on mine. I don't have to. He doesn't have to. And because also, does it really matter what everyone else on there thinks? It's not like he has women on there he's talking to and whatnot. I know that.
Yeah, and that's a different thing. That's what I was going to say. Like, I personally, so when him and I have had the conversation about it, he's told me, he's like, I understand that your main account social media is kind of something different because you are posting and there's a lot more people in the world like looking at your things. As far as a lot of things, like I don't post a lot of my friends when I'm out. I don't post a lot of like, I'll post my siblings, but it's not necessarily everything that we're doing just because I want to be protective of them and I don't want the internet to like grab hold of them and, you know, do this weird shit to them.
I value my private life. Like I don't like being on camera, but I want to be time with you, so I don't mind doing it.
Yes. So, and stuff like that. And so he was like, if you're not posting me and stuff, if you don't post me at all, like I totally understand that. But if you want to, you can. If you don't, I get it. You don't want to because this is like also like your thing, but that doesn't negate the fact that like, if I was getting DMs from boys all the time and I was acting as if I didn't have a boyfriend, I would understand the insecurity about never being on someone's social media. And I've been there. I've been that girlfriend. But I agree. As long as you two are communicating and you love each other and everything like that, you don't necessarily have to be on someone's page, like broadcasted everywhere.
Because like also real shit, like I knew there was something going on, like that you probably were dating someone, but I had no idea it was. You know why? Because I never saw a lick of it. So when he said that about my man not posting, I was like, well, your girl ain't posting you. He's like, I post about her all the time. I was like, yeah, you're doing that. She's not doing that. Does that undermine your relationship? Absolutely not.
Because I feel like for him, he's very like, he shows up and he's very like, I want to show that I like love my girlfriend, but everyone does not show things in the same way. Exactly. I didn't even know he said that, or you guys had that conversation.
He said it while we were, it was the first time I met.
Oh, Alpha.
Alpha. Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay, okay.
And he said that, and I was like, bruh. I was like, I had no idea, because I was trying to be nice because
he probably didn't mean.
Yeah, he probably didn't mean anything, but it was like literally the first time I was being introduced to him as your boyfriend. And it was the first time I was talking about.
We literally, me and him were talking about how sometimes he says things and like the way it reads in his mind, he's like, it's not coming out that way. And I'm like, sometimes he needs a translation in the in-between.
Yeah, because I was trying not to get mad about it, but now that you say that and we talk about it, I completely get that, because like I can be like that a lot of times where like, especially my tone comes out way different than I am. And like, it's not until like, so people will have to tell me like, hey, you're being a bitch. And I was like, oh,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's not what I meant.
I thought it was pretty nice. And
it's like a closer thing. Like in my Finsta, people think I have Finsta for like weird shit, and it's not for anything weird. It's literally just like, I think 20 people on there that I can just completely live every aspect of my life. And it's just like, I can give this to you guys. I don't think y'all are going to be weird with it. and it's just whatever. There's no filter, no nothing. It's just me talking because this is how you guys know me, you know. But on like a public platform, it's like there are certain things I shouldn't say, and I think more people need to be aware of that. You shouldn't say everything that you're thinking. Let me ask you a step further. If someone does have a public relationship, do you think that when they break up, it is a, I guess, responsibility to address the elephant in the room? I personally think that if you do have a public relationship, only because you chose to put this out here publicly, I'm not saying go into like the details of everything, but I think that you do deserve to give your audience a heads up of like, me and this person aren't together. Just so also they're not constantly asking like, why aren't you guys together? Why aren't you together?
That would reopen. I feel like it's more so not for the public necessary that should need to know, because at the end of the day, if like you break up with someone and yes, it is like a public relationship, and whether or not it was mutual or not mutual, however it ends up, you need to just notify them, like honest to God, just saying like, hey, we broke up, we're not going pretty of it, and that's all. And the only reason I feel like you should do that is that your audience does not try to pry and open up people that you are actively trying to hear from. And I also feel like audience not being respectful of that, and they weren't audience.
Next segment that we're getting into is called What We Watchin'. What We Watchin' is just like a quick little 1-minute brief of a TV show that you're watching or a movie that you're watching, and you guys as the audience can let us know what you're watching in the comments. Last week we had a listener say that they're watching Fresh Prince again. I shared that I'm watching The Flash last week. I have to think of a show, so I'll let you go first. What are you watching, Haley?
I did watch a movie recently that was called Subsurface.
Okay.
I like kind of gazed over it like when it came out. I'm gonna say a hot take. It has Megan Fox in it. She's not attractive. Hot take. She was before she got all that work done. Now, because she literally plays a robot in the movie, she looks like that, a robot. She doesn't look like a real woman, stuff like that. People can come at me and be like, you know, you're not the most attractive person. My boyfriend thinks I'm beautiful, and that's all that matters. I think you're beautiful
as well.
Thank you. And my boo thinks I'm beautiful. You're also very deeply beautiful.
I'm not on this wave of everyone changing their face. I miss when people look like people. I mean, everyone looks like a person. I'm not trying to say that, but I wish I miss authenticity in people.
Yes, that's my thing, because like I had this discussion with like a male friend of mine, and I was like, hot take, like why guys specifically that she's attractive? Like she's not attractive. Like she was before she got work done, but she's not anymore, because when she was playing that AI robot, she literally looked like a robot. I was like, that's not a person. You've gotten so much work done.
She looked beautiful. Yeah, stunning.
Like, there was nothing to but then there's always, you gotta have this, you gotta have that, and like, I get that, but within limits. When you start actually like an AI robot, if we're talking about now versus then, now, no, not at all. And I was like, but that's basically all the movie was about. AI robot falls in love with like her master, however you want to call it, and tries to like replace the wife.
I think the only thing I've been watching is like King of the Hill, to be honest. Yeah. And then they're remaking King of the Hill. Or not remaking, they're redoing a spinoff. Or not a spinoff. What is it called? A continuation, but like later. Everyone's older. Yeah, like everyone's just old now, and there's some black guy that lives in his house and then moves out of his house in the little trailer thing. I guess he was just renting it or something. But yeah, that's what I'm watching. Ooh, what's the hot take on King of the Hill?
I don't like King of the Hill. He's the most annoying character ever. Maybe the spinoff is different. Maybe they revamped it and his character is different. I like everybody else in that show. Hank Hill.
Really? You like Peggy?
Yes.
Peggy's my least, like...
I'm fine with her. Like, she's okay. Like, you know, but something about Hank Hill just always hurt the child. And I was like, where's Bobby?
Where's Peggy? I feel that. He's a Bobby hater.
Yeah.
I don't mind Hank, I guess. Yeah. He's not my fave.
Yeah, he had his moments where I was like, I'll tolerate this.
So the camera died, and we're just gonna finish this off on an audio take. But thank you guys so much for watching. Leona, if you want to let them know where they can find you or shout out your businesses and what you do.
You can Literally look up Homeward Bound. I'm gonna be so real. I forgot my.
I think it's homeward bound _ Texas.
Yeah, it is. My sister runs that social media. I just approve what she puts on there.
Period.
Yeah, that's it. Homeward Bound _ Texas. It's on Instagram. I think there is a Facebook one that's also under the same tag. I think my number is listed on those. So literally, if you need pet sitting stuff, reach out to me. I do have house sitting / pet sitting. Is one of my most favorite things in the world. I am highly experienced in doing pretty much everything you could possibly need.
Well, guys, thank you all for listening. Please be sure to rate the podcast if you're a Spotify or an Apple podcast listener. And if you are a viewer, I'm sorry for all the technical issues on this episode, but please sure to like and subscribe for more episodes weekly. Follow us on social media at LT Legacy Productions, which is the media production company running the podcast. And with all that being said, we will see you guys next time. Bye. Bye.